WMNF Tampa.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Good morning to you, my sweet companions of the airwaves, and thank you for keeping your radio dial tuned to WMNF Tampa, the touchstone of community sport radio station from Tampa Bay to the Gulf of Mexico, and the only station that Snake Plissken would ever dream of streaming, and you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. Today I have just one humble request of you right now. Are you vexed by any medical questions or concerns? Give us a call at 813-239-9663. That number again is 813-239-9663. You can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. Good morning to you, Dr. Harvey. Of all the days of the week that end in Y, Ask Me Anything Monday is certainly my favorite. So let me just hang my hat here at the door and let you kick this show into gear for your listeners, shall we? What have you got for us today, Dr. Fred?
Good morning. Happy Monday, Bill, and all my happy, healthy steps listeners.
And, of course, back to you. Should be great.
So, yeah, it already is. What a beautiful, clear day here it is on the west coast of Florida. A bit hot, but we're used to that here. So I love how positive humanity is. It sounds terrible out there. We're listening to these things about wars and how stupid people want to keep wars going, and it's just terrible. Greed runs our world to a great extent, and if we just turn our backs on that greed, we might be able to figure out a middle ground here. But, despite all that, healthcare has been going in positive directions for years. Over the past century, we've had vast increases in human health, and such that our fastest growing age demographic is those over 60. The baby boomers are achieving that. Baby boomers and Gen X are moving into this age group rapidly. The boomers are already there. Gen X is coming in rapidly, and so the thing we have to consider is this life expectancy. It's really amazing. In 1900, this is 125 years ago, life expectancy for a human male born in England was 44 years. And by the time I was born, 1961, the lifespan had increased to approximately 65 years, which may be why when they started Medicare and Social Security here in America in the 60s, they used 65 as a starting point because they figured half the population was going to be leaving the planet very shortly after that, because this is the average lifespan. So half is average. So a lot of people were going to be leaving very shortly, and some had already left. So 65 was kind of a sweet spot for the people who were legislating then. But today, the lifespan is 87. Somebody born today is likely to live to the age of 87. So lifespan has increased. So has health span. Health span is a way of looking at how well you function. We've been looking at this for 30 years in functional medicine because that's what it's about. How healthy are you? Not how long can we get you to live. Longevity is wonderful, but longevity without health is kind of useless. And there is a description of what happens in the first world. In the wealthier countries, we have a problem with health span and lifespan. People are living longer than their health lasts. And so there's a gap, the disability gap. And some people have talked about how we're creating in the West, in the more wealthy countries, a nursing home world, because there's a gap in America around 12 years between health span and lifespan. And the same thing goes for Canada, England, France. All the first world has this large gap. And so we're looking at a problem here where people are not able to care for themselves effectively for as many as 12 years. So when they did some actual work on this, I believe in association with a health span, lifespan study, they showed that between 2000 and 2019, the lifespan increased by 6.5 years for humans in general, the average lifespan. But the health span increased only 5.4 years. And so we're seeing a gap there. And so the lifespan in 2019 was around expected average lifespan was 72.5 years, but the health span was only 63.3 years. And so we have there a 9-year disability gap. And so we're having a problem keeping up with the length of time we're living. Functionality testing is done. But the problem is most of the major functionality testing looks at only severe losses. You know, if you had a stroke, and you can't move your right leg, that's a significant loss. But they really haven't been assessing the small things, the activities of daily living, your day-to-day ability to get through the world. And I was reading this article that talked about a new way of looking at it. I saw health span was at the top of what they were talking about. I thought, this isn't new, but there's actually a new way of looking at this with more data and more detail. And they've taken health span and expanded into a concept called intrinsic capacity. What is your intrinsic ability to get through the day? And they've created an assessment tool that's accurate and actually can help track how people are doing over time and help with intervening to help people actually gain back some of their health span. Now, one of the main reasons that women end up in nursing care is not what you'd think. You have to remember that women live longer than men generally. And so many older women have lost their partners and they're alone at home. And it's not that they're specifically sick, but that they have actually lost capacity. You see, many women end up in assisted living because they can't get out of a chair. Yeah, they can't get out of a chair without assistance. And so the World Health Organization has come up with a really smart tool. It's called, and a study along with it, integrated care for older people. It's called ICOPE. And it provides guidance for a very person-centered assessment, the kind of work that functional medicine does, not looking at just numbers on a page of labs or looking at an image on an x-ray, but actually being with the people and assessing the people on how they specifically function. And so you can actually Google ICOPE, I-C-O-P-E, World Health Organization screening tool for measuring intrinsic capacity. And they've done numerous of these studies now, China, England, and it's really brilliant. And the first thing you need to do is screen for losses in intrinsic capacity. And the things that are important to look at that they've decided and discerned through study, that the primary areas where we want to look, the priority conditions associated with major decline in this intrinsic capacity, number one is cognitive decline. And for that, really easy assessment tool. Ask someone to remember 3 words like flour, door, and rice. Can they remember them? Or are they oriented in time and space? What is the full date today? Where are you right now? Are you home, office, in a clinic? Are you on the 1st or 2nd floor? What's the office number? Who's the doctor in front of you? These kind of things are very important. And so asking both of those questions can really be a very simple cognitive evaluation. Limited mobility, very simple, do a chair rise test. Rise from a chair 5 times without using the arms. just sit down, stand back up, and see if you can do it. Can the person do that within 14 seconds? If not, we may be looking at limited mobility. And there's one of the first reasons to go to assisted living. Malnutrition. Weight loss is the first question. Has there been any unintentional weight loss over, say, 6 pounds or 3 kilograms? Have you had a loss of appetite? Those are easy questions. Visual impairment. Do you have any problem with your eyes? Difficulty seeing far, reading, eye diseases, or currently under medical treatment for things that cause eye problems like diabetes? Hearing loss. Can the person hear a whisper? If not, there might be a problem. Screening audiometry testing is also very valid, even more so than the whisper test. 35 decibels or less should be heard. And so either it's a pass or a fail. Hearing loss results in cognitive loss and loss of functional ability, loss of intrinsic capacity. And depressive symptoms. Over the past 2 weeks, has the person been bothered by feeling down, depressed, or hopeless, or having apathy, little interest or pleasure in doing things? If any of the answers to any of these questions end up being a fail, a positive, then we need to go on to further assessment and then look for underlying diseases. If there are none, continue with community assessment and help lift people up. But then you need, if you do find things, assess and manage the diseases. If there's diabetes or vascular disease, if there's any other kind of problem going on, we need to fix it. Malnourishment, we need to fix malnourishment. Fix the nutrient deficits so that the organs function normally. And then we also have to assess and manage the social and physical environment. Somebody who's living alone with poor hearing and slight cognitive decline is not going to do well. And so they may need a better social care and support plan. Somehow find ways to connect in social participation, because socialization really helps to lift mood. And if people have poor vision, things like that, you might want to adapt the environment by helping them avoid pitfalls in that. And then really develop a care plan. But with that, you need a multidisciplinary team, and the primary care doctor has to be aware of it. It is a big job. But if we start just understanding that this is one of the most important things that we have to do to prevent breakdown and more problems for older people, we need to get involved in understanding the intrinsic capacity, because I see it all the time where capacity has been lost, where capacity is lower, and the person really is struggling to make it. And I watch it all the time in people that are living alone and have problems with medical conditions, and they need support with the medical condition, but they do live alone and they have very difficult time accessing the things that they need to get better. With that, I'd just like to remind everyone that we all can work together getting better. We ask questions, we get answers, we implement. And this is the place to ask the questions. Healthy Steps Talk Show. I'm Dr. Fred Harvey.
That was a nice smooth move there, Doctor, the way you were to segue on into. Yes, folks, you are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show here on WMNF Tampa. You're invited to participate by giving a call at 813-239-9663. We have Maddie answering the phones today, so give us a jingle. Again, that number is 813-239-9663, and you can send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Okie doke, I do have a caller there, Doc. I've got Joel in Tampa. Good morning, Joel.
Hi, Doc. Let me turn the radio off. Thank you. Doc, this subject is on my mind recently, as I heard the new Dean of Public Health at USF speak in a forum on Friday a couple weeks ago. in the portico in downtown Tampa, and he talked about all the wizardry of medicine. And I raised my hand and was able to talk to him about America's quality of life, which you talk about daily on your show. And I said, I looked at the quality. I looked at you. I looked at public health universities, the Nebraska, Indiana, California schools, and what do they do? What do you do about raising the quality of health in America? And I said, you don't do anything for me to raise my health, pushing drugs and continually recommending injections, which I have a great concern about. I don't trust public health, doctor. You can do better. And Doc, what I see is
yeah, Joel. I really like your point there.
They're running on a broken system on cash only.
Yeah, it seems to be that. However, public health has a much bigger mission than what you're focused on right here and right now. And during the pandemic, I believe that public health took a left turn because I believe that vaccine mandates are fascist. And I believe that no government should enforce medical therapies on anybody that doesn't want them. That is my libertarian nature. But I do know that we have very strong evidence, and it is not really very refutable, that vaccines work and that vaccines are useful. However, I also disagree with the pediatric vaccine schedule because I don't believe that any human ever gets 27 different infections at one time. And that's why I think we should actually stretch out the vaccine schedule so that the little toddlers' immune systems have a chance to adapt to each new challenge. But we do know that these actual injections have extreme benefit for public health. I'm not certain that the way it's done is extreme benefit for public health, because the way it's done is driving people who have less education and who have fallen for deceptive misinformation to actually avoid taking very good product.
The information is in, Doctor. You've been sharing this.
Yes, I have been. And the information is in that vaccines are effective public health tools. And I really thank you for bringing that up, because it was something we needed to talk about, because it is vaccines that have helped increase the lifespan and health span of humans on this planet. Thank you, Joel. Let's move on to the next caller.
Yes, indeed. I've got Pat in Seminole and Dave in St. Pete. So let's go to Pat. Good morning, Pat.
Yes, good morning. You were talking earlier about lifespan of people. And
yes.
Also, a little while ago, you were talking about asking questions and getting answers. And very sadly this morning, and maybe you can let the public know because this is cause for pause, did I just hear on Amy Goodman's program that Rob Lorai, the co-founder of WMNF, the 40-year long ago co-founder and champion for public broadcasting, did he pass away this weekend? Do you have any news on that about Rob Lorai?
I think Bill should answer this. I have no idea.
Yes, actually, Rob, a founding member of WMNF, had passed away tragically. He was a wonderful guy. Met him quite a few times here. I answered the phones for him when I first got here. And I'd also like to mention that there will be an opportunity today if you want to be able to talk about Rob or your feelings, things like that, or you have your favorite Rob story or interview you'd like to share. You can call in at noon to the Community Speaks program hosted by Mabili. And we'll also be playing segments of recent interviews of Rob by the Reverend Andy Oliver of Allendale United Methodist Church. So the Mabili show, of course, will be at noon, and I think it should be a tender moment. Rob was a hell of a good guy.
Absolutely, and this is cause for pause for all of us. So, and this is about mental health of people. So, of us knowing about such a wonderful guy passing. I think he was only 70, and I believe he died of cancer, which is kind of health related. But overall, this is a news station, and I think people would want to know this. So, in any case, Rob left us too soon. May God rest his soul. Amen, everybody.
Thank you there, Pat.
Take care.
Thank you, Pat.
Bye-bye.
And yeah, I really appreciate that. I did not know, and yeah, it just hit my heart. I'm going to take a moment. It was Rob that called me and invited me to do this show after my predecessor and best friend Eve left us. I really enjoyed working with Rob. His level of integrity, his dedication to truth in the news was unmatchable. He had a very distinct style. He had a real ability to keep it calm when the topic was bad. And he was a great support for me when I started my broadcast career here. I really appreciated the opportunity to come to his defense and his assistance when a very ineffective station manager tried to eliminate him. And we were able to keep him with the station and work longer together. His contribution to Tampa area journalism and national journalism is unmatched because he was really kind of at the helm of this station for 40 years. Thanks, Rob. We will all miss you. I think I can take a caller.
Okay, let's go ahead with, I've got Dave in St. Pete, but also want to remind folks, and I'm sorry there, Doctor, that it kind of got surprised on you this morning about Rob's passing. And there will be an opportunity for folks to call on into Mobili's show at noon to share their stories and the little bit of history that Rob has given not only to WMNF, but also to the importance to the news community here in the Tampa Bay area. All right. Good morning to you there, Dave.
Hello.
Hello, Dave.
Yes. Good morning. I'm sorry to hear about Rob, as a sad thing. I haven't heard all of the show, but I think we're talking about quality of life issues for older people.
Yes, and the health span, function.
Okay. I would tell you exactly what I tell my doctor regularly. The secret to being old and surviving and enjoying yourself is getting your own rock and roll band. I have a 6-piece band called the Occasionals. We play all our own stuff. Our average age is 64 years and 3 months because we just added a 33-year-old guitar player. But I myself am 69. I've got a drummer who just turned 76. A guitar player who's 77, and we get together a couple times a week and just rock out, do our thing. We're recording an album right now, and it keeps everybody happy and moving. It's just
that's excellent.
What we do.
What's the name of your band, Dave?
The name of the band is The Occasionals.
The Occasionals. I love it.
Yeah, because we occasionally get to go out and make noise. But
you made some really good points there, though. What you do.
I'm sorry?
You made some really good points here. What you do, doing this playing, is so stimulating to your brain and to your heart that it's making you thrive. Getting together with people and enjoying what you're doing is part of thrival. We need to have socialization. We need to do things that are fun. And we need to do things that are challenging. So playing your guitar, playing your drums, singing, being in front of people, this is a challenge every time you do it, even though it's something you've done a long time.
It is. I mean, we've had challenges. The band's been together for 4 years now, and we've gone through hip replacements, heart attacks, amputations, and a few other things. Myself, I had a stroke 6 years ago. I used to be a guitar player, but it took out my whole right side. And so now I can't find the guitar with my right hand. So I switched to keyboards and synthesizers and samplers and anything else that can make noise. And, it's not just...
But, hey, before you go on, Dave,
what?
You are amazing. You've had a stroke. You're showing the positive part of the way you deal with health challenges. You've had a stroke and you're out. You learned a different way to do it. You can't play your guitar. You're still doing music. I love this. This is thrival.
My fans still love me. We got together. And, things evolved. It's just.
I love it.
It's
That's
not
beauty.
just the once or twice a week we get together. We're all musicians. We're all songwriters. We're constantly working and evolving songs and bringing them to the band. It's a continuous thing, and it continually inspires you to be creative, and that brings positive results all the way around.
So where are you playing next, Dave?
Actually, we're playing it October 11th at a bar over here on 49th Street called Peepaws.
Peepaws, I love that. That's what my kids call their grandfather. Love it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what the relationship is there. I've only been there a couple times, but yeah.
Wonderful. Hey, Dave, thanks for calling in. Let me move on to the next caller.
Have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Indeed. Thank you for sharing that, Dave. Let's go to Jerry in St. Pete. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, folks. Well, I totally support the rock and roll guy and the previous caller also. So, congratulations, guys. Keep following your passion. That should work out great. So, Doc, I've gone over this with you before, and I think it's important to reiterate it. But I was wondering if you're familiar with a person who's passed away over the last few years named Elizabeth Satori.
Elizabeth Datori?
Satori, yeah, Greek woman. She was an entomologist who studied ants, and she's been involved with past administrations regarding, agriculture, basically integrated agriculture within community development.
Uh-huh.
So my premise is, and you've inspired me to do this, and so if you'd like to talk about this, I'd like you to, but my premise is the farther we move away from our food source, our healthy food source, the more we decline as a society. And unless that's reintegrated back into society, like the most successful societies that are in existence today, then we'll constantly decline in health.
I don't disagree with that at all. We should be eating close to the ground. Whole foods are our foods. Things in boxes with 27 ingredients aren't necessarily food. They look like food, they taste like food, they might even smell like food, but they're food-like substances that have weird chemicals in them to stabilize them so they'll stay in a box on a shelf for 27 years without going rancid. That's not food. That's preserved nasty gack. And so, yeah, the more stuff like that, multiple syllabic chemical constituents of natural foods aren't natural anymore. And so all these things are petrochem, industrial chemicals that are, many of them are like byproducts of industrial waste. You get soybean oil from industrial soybean growing, which isn't really agriculture. It's actually industrial destruction and extraction from the land. And so, yeah, we need to change everything we're doing. Local growing is key. I totally agree with you on the way we do agriculture. Every human who owns a plot of land in America should have food growing on it. Period. End.
I totally agree with that.
So that's the simple thing. Let's go back to the way humans live. We're not separate from this environment. We pretend like we are. We poop in our food. We poop in our beds, and we expect to be healthy. All these invisible fecal contaminants, petrochemical nastiness. We're pooping on ourselves. No other species does that. No other species soils its home. So why are we doing it?
Well, you can recycle that. You can put it into the compost back into the farm.
Well, actually, you can do that. You put it right on the farm, and you put that swill into
that yourself if you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're making like human feces into fertilizer, putting on crops that cows eat, and then they get sick from having highly concentrated PFAS, and pesticides.
Right.
And then we ingest their meat and their milk. You think we're going to get sick? Get real. What are we eating poison for? Why does our federal government promote the consumption of poison for profit? This is our government.
I guess
owned by polluters.
I guess what I want to express is, unless we look at it from a planning perspective, and whether we build it on roof systems or whether we build it on individual lots, or how do we get agriculture back into community, high density, urban community development? So
it's a personal choice.
That's the goal.
It's a personal choice. It's a personal choice.
Exactly.
So you go out. Exactly. So each individual needs to start the process. So if you are in a city,
think about it. They need to think about it. They need to process it.
Right. They'll start thinking about it. So the first thing you can do is like if you're in a city and you have no land, put an herb garden in your window. If you have 1/10 of an acre, put a small vegetable garden, or how about on your patio, put box gardens. They talk about it on sustainable living all the time. These box gardens are amazing. They're so functional. Everybody can grow some of their own organic food.
And support your local farmer.
Exactly.
That's doing the job.
They're all around. Look up local organics and you'll find them. Just Google it. They're everywhere. There are so many good people growing food around you. And Tampa is not even as a co-op where people that grow too much food on their home lots share it with other people.
That's exactly right.
Sustainable living next hour and learn more. It's awesome.
There you go. Well, of course I listen to sustainable living. But Doc, you are the best, man. You are the best. You are the best. The WMNF is the best. I tell everybody, but you are the ultimate best. You are doing your job, man. You are doing your job. I'm so grateful for you. I want you to. I hope you fully understand that.
Jerry, I love you, and I love teaching, and I love teaching the truth, and I love talking truth to power, because I'm sick of these corporate creeps lying to us. Thanks, Jerry. Have a great day, and call in again.
You're doing your job. You too, man. Have a great week.
Okay, thank you there, Jerry. I've got John from St. Pete on the line here. Good morning, John.
It's Tom, by the way.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, every park, every city park, every church, every community space should have food growing on it. Why isn't this happening? Let's make it happen. I think I mentioned to you a couple of months ago that I been using the THC on my knee, my torn meniscus.
Uh-huh.
I just discovered that if I mix that with that methyl salicylate, that
yes.
green, it's like a liquid aspirin, that gives me the most relief that I found of every mixture that I put on my knee, and I thought I would share that.
That's excellent. So a little methyl salicylate and some THC cream.
One, I use, they actually make a gel now, and I use a 1 milligram dosage of the gel. and then I put on maybe 3 drops of the methyl salicylate, and I mix, put it all around my knee, and I tell you what, you can feel it.
That's great. That methyl salicylate does cause some skin sensation, and that's a nice combination. I'm glad you found some relief.
Yeah, it smells pleasant too. But my question to you is, and I just heard that Germany has come out with actually coincidentally, I think it's a gel that you inject into the cartilage and it regrows cartilage. I've heard that this weekend. But they're looking for approval to use it on people next year. So my question to you is, of all the things that can be done, have you heard of anything that's effective in either regrowing or treating a torn cartilage?
Well, there is some evidence from the regenerative orthopedics world that using stem cells and growth hormone and platelet-rich plasma may actually help to patch that cartilage. I don't think you can actually fully repair a torn meniscus. That's just not going to happen. But for eroded cartilage, you might be able to grow some back. I've not seen any recent studies, but I do know that there have been in the past, and people do get relief using that. But actually doing things that also improve the function of the knee, like muscle activation technique, to make the knee work better so that you don't continue to abuse it and have more erosion. That's another way to go about it, to like reduce the stress on the knee, but at the same time use techniques that might help regrow some of the tissues.
Are you talking about, because I've been, there's actually, all these doctors on YouTube, which is, it's wonderful to have all this expertise at our fingertips. A lot of them are giving exercises for strengthening the muscles that support the meniscus.
Yes.
Is that the kind of thing that you're suggesting there?
Yes. And so orthopedists will send you to physical therapists. I recommend that you might want to also look at muscle activation technique therapists who do it differently than physical therapy. They're peak performance athletic trainers who help you get to optimal function. And it's a really interesting technique. So I would do movement and metabolic work.
Got it. I'll let you know. And thank you. Have a
good luck, John. Tom, take care.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you very much for that, Tom, and I apologize for calling you something else. And I want to remind folks, we're down to less than 20 minutes in the Healthy Steps radio show here on WMNF Tampa, and you are invited to give a call and tell us your medical questions or concerns by dialing 813-239-9663. And you can also send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Again, the number to call, and Maddie is there to answer the phones, is 813-239-9663. And I do have Lee from Ruskin on the line. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning.
Hi, Lee.
Hey, how you doing, Doc?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Well, just a couple quick questions. I see these things on TV, these capsules that have vegetables and fruits in them, and they talk about how well they're touted up. What's your opinion of those?
Well, I think that vegetables and fruits are fabulous. I think that there are substitutes that aren't as good as vegetable and fruits.
So the capsules are good, you think, or?
Well, I think that vegetables and fruits are what I would prefer to use to get my nutrients. And I don't believe that anything in a capsule can match a vegetable or a fruit.
Okay. I've been thinking about starting a protein powder in my morning drink. But there's all different kinds. Is there one that you'd recommend over others?
I think it can be personal preference, but for example, whey protein is a high biologic value protein, and it's very well absorbed. And if you don't have a problem with dairy, then you could do whey protein. You want to do cold filtered, not hydrolyzed or processed in any way. You want clean, organic whey protein if you're going to do it. And then plant protein is actually good too. And there are different varieties. I use one in my practice that's a combination of pea and rice because plants don't have the full complement of amino acids that animals do. And so you need a grain and a bean to put together to make the full complement. So rice and pea together make a complete protein. It's also very well absorbed. It's also low allergenicity, but some people still do have issues with rice and or with peas. So you might change and look at hemp fiber, hemp proteins out on the market. There's a lot of different ones. And so, and I have no problem with organic, non-GMO soy protein. In fact, soy, the chemicals in soy are actually a buffer against breast cancer, uterine cancer, and prostate cancer because they reduce the signaling from your own hormones on those tissues and let them relax a bit.
Okay. I'm gonna get some of the one you take. I got it written down here.
Whey, pea and rice, soy, hemp, they're all good.
When a layman goes looking at them on the shelf, you know what? What's going on here? One more question, please. A doctor, a GP doctor I had a long time ago, he told me, he said, if you have any clogging in your arteries and start taking cholesterol pills, it will clear them out. Do you buy into that?
Well, I don't buy into anything, but I do read studies, and there are definitive clinical studies that prove that statins reverse plaque.
Okay. So I'll take that as a yes.
That is a yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Doctor. I really appreciate talking to you.
You're welcome, Lee. Have a great day and a great week. Call again.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much there, Lee. Let's go to Tom in Tampa and then follow it on up with Tammy. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Dr. Harvey. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago. I had early stage prostate cancer, and
yes.
I've been doing some research, and I was just wondering, are you familiar with a fellow named Paul Stamets? He's the mushroom. He's the fellow who's the mycologist, I guess they call him.
Absolutely. I love Paul Stamets. His information is really great. But I can tell you one thing, there are no mushroom cures for prostate cancer.
I see. Okay, that's what I was curious about, because I know he cured his mother of breast cancer, and she had it went into her sternum and all of her lymph nodes and her liver, and he saved her life, with she had like 3 months left to live, and I thought, well, I wonder if the same cancer that, in breast cancer, if it's kind of or somehow related maybe to prostate. And I was thinking about possibly, doing a treatment regimen of that. And
I think that the reason his mother got better, if she was that end stage, is his love and the unconditional love healing that was going on there, and her belief completely in the fact that what he was telling her was true. Dr. Joe Dispenza, you might want to look this up, the Inner Science Research Institute, is proving that faith healing works. When people get into heart-mind coherence and they are in the flow of love, tumors go away, diseases resolve. And so it may be worth it to look into love as the universal healer rather than a mushroom.
I see. Okay. His name was Dr. Joseph.
Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's DrJoeDispenza.com. That's his website. And he has some great teaching there about how consciousness works and how consciousness affects everything in the manifestation of our lives.
Okay, that was DenPezler?
No. DrJoeDispenza.com.
PENSA.
So,
okay.
Thank you, Lee. Or is that Tom? That's Tom. Have a great day. And good luck with that prostate cancer.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Let's go to Tammy. Good morning, Tammy.
Hi, Dr. Harvey. Thank you for
Hello.
taking my call.
You're welcome.
I would like. I have a bad back, severely injured back with a lot of nerve problems, and as I get older, I see older people having terrible posture, and my doctor just preached to me that posture is so important. So I'd just like for you to talk about.
How did your doctor instruct you to improve your posture?
Keep my shoulders back, keep my stomach tucked in, and keep my chin.
And how does he suggest you do that so that you do it differently than the way you've been doing it previously that got your posture bad?
Well,
right?
My injuries from my back had nothing to do with my posture. But
it totally does, because if your posture is bad to begin with, you're set up for a back injury.
Okay, but let's just say from an elderly person's perspective, can you talk about the health problems associated with poor posture is what I'm getting at, is what my question is.
Okay, well, they're myriad, and so poor posture is a bad thing. So things you can do about poor posture. One of the easiest things you can do is some simple Qigong. It's a standing exercise where you work on good posture, because the first thing you do is align your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your head so that they're aligned in a vertical method that is relaxed so that your body supports itself. And it takes a while to actually get to alignment because most of us don't stand in alignment. We stand too forwards on our feet. We tend to walk on the balls of our feet rather than on our heels and settle back into it. When we walk on the balls of our feet, our posture becomes forward leaning and causes strain on the discs in the low back, would then push out and sit on the nerves, causing back pain. And so the first thing we need to do is to align our standing posture so that it works. And Qigong is Qigong.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Get it online and start working on your posture. It's the easiest methodology because it starts with breathing and standing. Nothing's easier than breathing and standing, maybe sitting. And you can actually do it in a chair. There is restorative Qigong. If you can't stand, do it in the chair. Start there.
And would you spell that again for me, please?
Qigong.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Very welcome. Good luck with that.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you there, Tammy. And yes, indeed, good luck with that. I've got Joe in Venice. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. I have a question about the statin drugs and chronic pain. I had terrible back and tailbone and knee and hip pain, and I quit taking my statin, and it went away. And I was told to lay off it for a month. Now my doctor's going to see me and possibly subscribe a different brand of statin and see if I'm okay with that. Do you have any comments on that?
Let me first say, Joe, do you have your window open or something? There's an awful lot of...
No, I'm driving, but no, my window's up.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of wobbly sounds, so yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead there, doctor.
All right. So statins may or may not cause some joint pain, but the basis for using statins is it's got some really good data. But before we actually use the drug, we need to actually pay attention to why we have the problem. So if the diet includes too many processed foods, too much sugar, too many carbohydrates, and lacks fish oil, it's likely you're going to have pain. Does your diet include fish and fish oil, sir?
Yes, I take fish oil every night, and I also take 2 little cod liver oils so I can use the bathroom easier.
Okay, and then there's a supplement or actually an antioxidant in your body that gets depleted by taking statins. It's called coenzyme Q10. Everyone who takes a statin has that level drop. It is very critical for cellular health to have CoQ10. So anybody who takes a statin should be on a CoQ10 supplement, but doctors don't tell them that. Do you take CoQ10?
Yes, I do.
Good. So, because you're doing some of the things that actually might prevent the pain from the statin, I would suggest that you ask your doctor to do a statin tolerance blood test. It is a gene test. The gene is SLCO1B1. And if you don't have that gene problem, then it's not likely you have the muscle destruction problem or the liver destruction problem that statins might be associated with, because that gene means that gene abnormality means you can't metabolize the statins well. It's only a very small percentage of the people.
Okay.
You may be better with a different statin too.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Joe.
Okay.
And yes, thank you, Joe. Drive safely. And I've got Dr. Debbie from Lutz on the phone. Good morning there, Dr. Debbie.
Hello, Dr. Debbie.
Both for creating a space and a show that is not just informational, but very compassionate and really based in empathy. And I wanted to give a quick, I have just to bring it all back together, a quick thing for the guy with the early stage prostate cancer. My dad, when he was in his 60s, had early stage prostate cancer and did something called seeding, where they planted little seeds internally. And he's now he's 89. He's about to be 90. But this goes back to the connection or the gap between lifespan and health span. And he's doing pretty well overall. He's still walking with a cane, but it's really challenging on my mom, who is the caregiver and 10 years younger and a lot more active than he is. And makes me really just think that we all need to learn more about the connections between our mental health and our mental well-being and our physical well-being. I'm a yoga instructor, but I also am someone who is deeply feeling. And even though I did not know Rob personally, I felt the emotion through the radio. And I just think that as a society, we need to work better on creating spaces for people to grieve, to make space.
I totally agree with you, Debbie.
That healing love that you were talking about with whoever healed their mom from breast cancer. It really goes back to that. So thank you both so much for this show. Thank you, WMNF. I'm a longtime listener, fan, and supporter. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for that feedback. It really opens my heart up when people share the love, because unconditional love is the universal healing force. Yeah. It is unconditional love that drives scientists to find answers for serious illness. It's not greed. People have a misperception about who the scientists are. They're people just like you and me. Who the doctors are. They're people just like you and me. And most of them really went into this for compassion and love. There are a few bad apples that are in it solely for greed. And we actually see them. We all intuitively know who they are. We know who the good ones are, the ones with open hearts that are here to help us heal. There are healers and there are technicians who are making money from treating illness and extracting profit from the treatment. I choose healing because that's what our planet needs today. And I want to thank everybody that called today, because this was a great show. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, Maddie, for answering the phones. I'll see you next week.
Indeed. Thank you very much there, Doctor, for a wonderful show. We appreciate it. And thank you, Maddie. We could not have done the show without you. And to all of our listeners, stay healthy.